Hey everybody, Felix Reynolds here, bringing you my initial impressions video for War Thunder Ground Forces Closed Beta. As you may or may not know, the NDA was partially lifted for people in closed beta, and so now we can make videos, take screenshots, and share our initial impressions and opinions with everyone else. So this will just be a short video covering the basics of ground forces and anything that I find particularly interesting or of note, and then I'll probably play a match or two, and you can see some actual tank combat and me more than likely getting spawn camped and killed repeatedly. So, as you can see, the interface is exactly the same as War Thunder Planes. It is the same client, so you shouldn't need a separate one to play tanks or planes. You just switch over between tabs, which is really cool. Only nations currently that have tanks are Germany and Russia. I believe these are going to be the only two that have them at launch, but the other nations should follow afterwards. The Germans currently have 5 tanks. The Russians currently have 3. But the Russian tanks, both for the quality of the tank as well as for the fact that the closed beta has a nifty little thing that gives you 3 copies of each tank to spawn in. So you never actually lose a game by just running out of tanks, and there's always plenty of things to shoot at or bring back into the fight. So, just taking a quick look at the tech trees. As you can see, this is the German. Up here at the top, we've got Army and Aviation tabs. You can currently bring planes into the game, so you can fly planes against players who are in tanks. You can only, however, bring the reserve planes for the Russians and the Germans. So they only have little itty-bitty baby bombs, and they can strafe, but it's not... they're not hugely a force multiplier or capable of swinging the match one way or the other. So here we go, the 5 German tanks in Tier 1 or Aero 1. I'm not sure if they're going to do a 5 or a 10 tier system. You've got the Panzerkampfwagen 2, the Panzerkampfwagen 4, and the Flakpanzer 1. So the Panzer 2C is just your reserve tank. It's small, slow, has a tiny gun, and honestly is not really overly worth bringing unless you just have nothing else or you want to give it a shot. The Panzer IV-C is the early model Panzer IV. It's pretty much a standard battle tank. It's got a 75mm cannon and thin armor, 30, 15, and 15. So it's not overly survivable, but it's got a good gun and it's reasonably fast. And if you know how to maneuver it around and you can get good shots, it's still very, very effective. The Flakpanzer is the AAA tank. Really, it's only good against planes, but you actually have to research that at the beginning, so you can't bring that right away for some reason. I don't know why, but there you go. And then the 2 Tier 2 tanks, which are really what you'll be using 90% of the time when you're playing the Germans, the Panzer IV F2 and the Stug 3 assault gun. So they basically are identical in terms of armor and armament. The Stug, however, has much more slope on the armor, and it's a smaller silhouette and lower to the ground. It doesn't have a turret, though, so it has to rotate the entire tank to shoot at things. The Russians get the T-70 light tank, which has got a 45mm turret and is decently armored. Then the T-34 classic medium tank, 1941 model, with a 76mm cannon. And then the big bruiser currently in closed beta, the KV-1 heavy tank that is an absolute monster, hugely armored, 75mm, and then 76mm gun with a heap of ammo. It's very slow though, and it's very big, so it's easy to hit if it can't hide behind things very well. So those are the 2 tech trees currently in the game. If you look at the module system for the Panzer IV, it functions exactly the same as the module system for War Thunder. They all have individual effects and cool little things that they do, as well as shell racks that give you different fun stuff like heat shells or APCR shells or what have you. At the beginning, though, you just unlock your basic armor-piercing and high-explosive rounds. And then the crew skills, again, very similar to planes. The big difference is that each individual crew member has a tab and gets points. They all share these first 3, Keen Vision, Field Repair, and Vitality. Any skills after that, though, are the unique skills of that particular crew position. So driver, gunner, commander, loader, radio operator, what have you. And then the qualifications tab, same as usual. So, Now that we've seen all that, let's go ahead and jump into a match. That was really nice and fast. Only map currently in rotation for closed beta is Karelia, which I don't like. It is tiny. It looks like it's about 1 kilometer on a side, which means that, these two spawns right here, you can literally overlook each other if you find the right position and just camp people as they come out. And it means that people from this spawn or this spawn can just rush straight across and actually physically spawn camp if they so desire, which is, I can get why they'd put a small map in at the beginning to get people fighting, but hopefully that's not the case when it actually launches. So here we go. We're in battle. As you can see, first and foremost, it's a really pretty game, which is very fitting with the general War Thunder trend. However, that being said, the camera position, in my opinion, is a little too close. I feel very claustrophobic playing this. You can zoom in, but you can't really zoom much out past this, which is, not the most fun. But, so, targeting system, very similar. You get grayed out names when you can't directly have a line of sight to what you're shooting at. And then when they are in direct line of sight, you get a bright red name. You also have the sniper mode or first-person commander's turret mode or whatever you want to call it. It lets you actually zoom in and see things. Oh, look, there's a Henkel 51. Or no, an I-15 that just tried to bomb a tank and actually did bomb a tank. Good for him. Oh, there's quite a few. Jesus. There's quite a few planes in this one. He just crashed. So as you can see, the reticle is a little interesting. You have a little X and then the small round bit. So the small round bit is where your turret's pointed. The X is where the shell will go. This is, at the moment, some people see it as kind of a cheat, a helper. That's not particularly cool. I, on the other hand, don't overly mind it. When you put it over an enemy tank, it changes color depending on not whether or not you'll hit, but on what the penetration likelihood of the part of the tank that you're hovering over is actually at. So red means it quite possibly will bounce off. Green means there's a good chance of penetrating. But it doesn't actually, it's not the shell goes here when you pull the trigger. So if you saw me shoot there, the actual shell isn't always exactly where I aim it, and it's most noticeable at distance, but close in it's pretty accurate as to where you'll hit. So there's a KV-1 over there. Missed. Let's see if he'll come back. Nope, I don't think he will. Alright, well, I'm going to do something really stupid. Okay, I didn't die. That's great. And now I'll go try and find someone to actually shoot. Yeah, so ammo types, currently I've got the 2 down at the bottom of the screen. I don't really ever use high explosive against armored targets, and when you're in a tank that's designed to kill planes, you have high explosive fragmentation, which makes it a lot more effective. But there are other shell types that will be coming in, and especially if they introduce, for instance, assault guns or tank destroyers that have open plans, high explosive rounds will be, presumably pretty effective. So there are definitely some reasons you might want to take them, but in the current iteration, armor piercing pretty much serves you well 100% of the time. Okay. So I've just spotted a KV-1 off there behind the rocks, having a little fight with the Panzer IV up on the hill. So I'm going to go try and get in behind him, or beside him. The damage modeling is not a hit point based system. It is you hit the position of the item that you want to kill. Got it. I got his fuel tank, and he's now destroyed. So you can be very, very effective if you know where on the tank chassis the individual components are and which components are the actual vulnerable ones to go after. I don't know why the turret seems to be glitching out there. It does bounce. It does bounce around when you're moving, but it does steady up a bit once you've actually. Whoa, okay, so that looks like it's artillery, which I'm not quite sure. I've heard that it's supposed to be in the game. I'm not sure how you get it, though. I'm not sure if it's a module or if it's a tank that you unlock. Yeah. When I figure it out, I'll let everybody know. But for now, it's annoying. There's a lot of it, and it comes straight down, which means it's actually pretty... Oh, Jesus. And I just got blown up. Anyway, now I will go ahead and bring in Assault Gun, the Stuk 3, and see how we do. Now this is a spawn that is... This is the worst spawn in the game, in my opinion, because if you'll notice, you might have seen there was actually an enemy tank right up there on the top of the hill that's essentially able to just fire down into the spawn. Let's see if I can hit this Flak Panzer. Nope, missed. Oh, Jesus. And now I'm getting hit. Nope. Yeah, but this is why I hate the spawn. You can basically, whichever team sets up first and takes the initial advantage, can just sit and watch people as they come out of this exit, which they have to do unless you want to go all the way around the map. So it gives you a really big advantage in holding the center, which is annoying as all hell. And hopefully Gaijin finds a way to either balance that out or just make the maps bigger so that the spawn points are actually protected. Because that's one of the really nice things about War Thunder is that it's very difficult to spawn camp. So even if one side has a distinct advantage, they don't push it to the point where it just becomes not fun for the other side to try and come back. Whereas in this setup, yeah, once you've got the advantage of being able to sit on those spawns. Oh boy. Okay, cool. He didn't get the shot off. It looks like he's behind a rock. Yep, he is. Okay, that's why I can't hit him. So a lot of good hits there, but nothing serious. Let's see if I can actually, maybe if he comes up again. Or goes back. One of our planes just tried to strafe him, very nice. There we go, come on. Come on, buddy. There we go. Got his ammo rack, and he blew up quite spectacularly. So, we lost, but that's a good way to end it as far as I'm concerned. Always cool to watch an enemy Panzer blow up. But again, it highlights the fact that if you know where to shoot, I didn't do that on purpose. I wish I could say I did, but it was more of a lucky shot. But if you learn where certain things like ammo or fuel are stored, and you can learn how to reliably start hitting them, you're going to be much more effective than if you just start chucking shells out at everything that you can see as fast as possible. Maybe not so much in arcade, where there's heaps of respawns and lots of ammo, but in something like a realistic battle, which we're still waiting to see how exactly they do, it'll be incredibly effective because you'll be able to kill the enemy much faster and use much less ammo doing it. So anyway, that was my initial impressions for War Thunder Ground Forces. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will have more to come soon. So good hunting and stay safe.